Okay, so the thing about this streaming thing is that I really don't know when it starts. It says starting. We'll figure it out sooner or later. It says going, but that means, and then it shows me pecking my nose at the beginning of the video. My name is Ron Perry. I've got a lot of stuff to share with the community in terms of building nice models, and that's why I make videos. If you like these videos, consider becoming a patron of the arts. Patreon.com/Ron Perry, P-A-R-E. Today we're going to talk about mixing paint and painting the walls and why I picked this ugly color. Let's move the camera. The desk is starting to look messy, but just because we got everything in reach here. So in last video we textured our wood and we painted on the ink and alcohol. The ink and alcohol really doesn't do anything for the final results. What it does is it tones down the color of the wood so that after it's been painted you don't get no really white looking wood marks. You get a real looking wood underneath the paint. And the paint here, I had over here, we've got a couple of, I'm running low on paints. Let's just be honest here. So these are my two favorite colors that I was looking at. And what I wanted to do was to mix them with the gray, the Vallejo gray, to make a color that was close to what the color was on the box. However, I don't really want to have a super blue colored layout. I wanted to have the more of the darker color when it came to deciding upon it. And I think that at the very end I'm going to use the deck or beige World War II Vallejo paint to well, you'll just see. Let's get into mixing this paint because I got a lot of walls to paint here. So this paint bottle is of some paint that's been totally, like, it's at the end of its rope. We got to make a lot of this paint just because I want to paint all the walls that we've got here. So one of those wet brushes. Now mixing paint is an important skill to have, and you know, when you get to doing this, you really don't want to paint with the same brush you mix with, because that brush really gets pounded with a lot of paint. But it's going to be a case of do as I say and not as I do, because I'm sitting here pulling the paint off of the brush so that we'll start getting the dry brushing real like that. Now don't worry if there's a little bit of wood showing through. You just want to get when you put paint on your brush, you might get a glob on it like that. So just push it off and make sure that there's no big globs of paint on the end of the bristles. You want to get that off so that when you touch your wood, you don't get a puddle of paint. You get just a bit of paint to go on. And that gives us our variation here. Like I said before though, if you're a beginner painter, I would change brushes and start working with a clean brush. Well, not a brush like this, but a brush like this to put your paint on. And by Jove, don't go doing something to impress people because, oh, I'm not going to change my brush because Ron Perry didn't do it. You know, use every angle you've got to come out with a great looking kit, and it'll be something that your friends and colleagues will appreciate. Now, the clapboard's going this way along the walls, and that's why I'm painting that way. I don't want to go up and down this way because you're really going to notice it. That's an important thing. Even if I start doing this and I change to this way, you're still going to get crosses. Like, it's still going to cross a bit. Now this ain't the final color for this paint. We're going to go over it again with our tan color up and down over the planks. You're going to see that it's just going to hit the ends of the planks and brighten up the wall. But we really have to wait 24 hours for this paint to cure. We don't want this paint to be wet underneath so that both the layers meld together. Again, this mixture of paints, I used neutral gray, Vallejo color, and this is grass green, a real pukey colored green. You know, if you're watching me do this and you've never done it before, a couple of good kit companies to consider to buy your first wood kit would be Bar Mills. Art Fahey's Bar Mills has a not cheap, but you know, the low cost, high quality kits with lots of the goodies in it. That's a Bar Mills kit. I've never built one, but I've had enough friends tell me and show me what's in their kit that I know it's a great low-cost kit to buy. Another company to look at is Foscale Limited, rslaserkits.com, JL Innovative Supply. All those guys have a nice kit. And if you want to build something like this, consider one of their offerings, because they usually have pretty good instructions. I can't speak for them all the time, like in every kit, but good instructions are important. If every kit had good instructions, you wouldn't be watching me paint this right now. I don't think I should paint the door just yet. I think that maybe we can paint this and this and this. So like I said before, I wasn't really going to texture these small parts because they're so fragile. And I'm going to paint them, and you're actually going to get a representation of how different the wood looks after being stained and painted over and not being stained. Got a lot of paint on this brush, but so as you can see, it's much brighter. And of course, all this stuff over here, this you see through here. Once we put our beige over top, it's gonna look a lot different. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'm not from New York, guys. I can't do it. Okay, she's a painted. Thanks for watching. I'm just going to leave that on the top of the jar. Maybe I should actually just paint this. Okay, sorry for the no talking, but that's the first layer. We're gonna have to let this dry for 24 hours before we can put our next coat on. Probably later on tonight, I'm probably gonna put a coat of ink and alcohol on this again to keep the darkness staying in. Then tomorrow we are going to paint with our World War II beige. Thanks for watching. Peace out.